Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your thumbs up, for your comments, and thank you for sharing the videos. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. We've been hearing a lot from black immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean making bold statements that black Americans don't have culture. Now, we don't know where that came from, but that's what they're proclaiming now. And everything that we have created here in the United States, they try to take credit for it. So here is the rapper Busta Rhymes saying not only that black Americans don't have culture, but everything that's been done here in the United States in the name of culture was done by the Caribbeans and the Hispanics. So listen to this.
The U.S. ain't got no culture. They shit is all our shit. A bunch of our shit is what makes the U.S. whatever you want to call it. We still don't know what that culture is for the U.S., but it's a mix-up of all of our cultures in the urban community. You know, the Latino and the West Indian has the greatest influence.
Now, y'all see how he stood there and told that big black greasy ass lie? Now, he is a Jamaican immigrant. Jamaica has just under 3 million people, and all of them are not black. America has 43 million black Americans, not counting immigrants. Jamaica is about 4,000 square miles big. The United States is 3.4 million square miles. So he's trying to compare a small population of people with a large population of people and trying to take credit for everything that large population of people created in the name of culture. Does it even make any sense? No, it really doesn't. And it's really pathetic that these black immigrants will keep trying to push the idea that we don't have culture, but they really believe that. And that is why black Americans are saying we have to delineate from these people because they don't have any self awareness. They don't understand their relative insignificance and irrelevance to the black community in the United States of America. Now, let's listen to what Tariq Nasheed says about them saying that we don't have culture.
And I see a lot of UK people speaking about black American. The UK, Africans, Caribbeans, a lot of their talking points is black Americans don't have culture. What do you say to those people who say that?
That's a projection. We are the culture here. Our lineage goes back to this country longer than the lineage to their country because their countries are relatively new. Not just West Africa, all of Africa. Many of those countries were basically created in the 1800s at the Berlin Conference. They don't have a deep, rich culture. That's why a lot of them have to leave because of a lot of tribalism. They're not as deeply rooted as they're supposed to be. They do a lot of projecting onto us. Our culture is so deeply rooted here. Everything about American culture that is good comes from foundational black Americans.
True.
The food, the dance, the slang, the sports, the entertainment, all of the music genres was created by foundational black Americans. We are the culture. And they know this because if you go to their countries, they're acting like us. We're not acting like them.
They don't understand what culture is. They think if they come over here and put on clothes like black Americans and try to talk the slang of black Americans, that makes them a black American. That's why the foundational black American, the American descendants of slavery, all of these different identifications, hopefully we'll arrive at one that we can all agree on one day. But they think if they come over here and start cosplaying a black American, that it makes them a black American, and it does not. And that's where culture comes into play. They're trying to co-opt our culture and make it theirs and say, well, this is just American culture. No, it's black American culture. Now, I said all of that to say they just had the Essence Festival this past weekend. The Essence Festival is a cultural event. I didn't attend the festival, but I want you to listen to what two people had to say who did attend the festival.
Now y'all know I don't be in nobody business, but Essence Fest, we are not coming. this year, next year, the year after, until y'all realize that we are Black Americans and we do got the money, baby. But y'all not gonna play in our face. We don't want fufu. We don't want jollof rice. We are not African. We are not Black Caribbeans. We are none of those things. We are Americans. We have our own food, our own culture, our own music. Stop playing with our top and thinking we not gonna show y'all something. We gonna show y'all. Now, if you don't get somebody Black up in there, you might as well cancel this shit because it's gonna be way more empty next year. We're not coming. We are not African. We're not finna cosplay as African. We do not care how anybody feel about it. This our motherfucking country. That's our event, and y'all need to make it what it need to be. Bye, bitch.
Okay, now this speaker was crude. She was crude, but she spoke specifically about culture, about the Black American culture. She said that Essence Fest is a Black American cultural event. That's how it started out. So she said, we are not Africans, we are Americans. So that puts in the ethnicity right there, which culture is related to your ethnicity. She said we have our own food and our own music, two very important components of culture. Your food and your music are very important features of any culture. And they were saying that they had a contest between jambalaya and jollof rice. And we know that in certain parts of the South, jambalaya is a very important dish. We don't eat jollof rice. Black American descendants of slavery don't eat jollof rice. That's a Nigeria, or I don't know who eats it, but it's Africans. Africans eat that. And this Black American and many others were saying, we don't want you imposing your culture on us at our event. Because again, Essence Festival is an important Black American celebration, you might call it. That is a part of your culture. So these Black immigrants don't respect the cultural boundaries. They think it's okay for them to just come in and elbow their way in and do what they were doing back in their homeland. And that is very disrespectful. Now, again, I wasn't there, but the people who are speaking about it are talking about the culture of the festival. See, that's what these Black immigrants don't get. They think culture is something to do with what they do back in their homeland. Culture is whatever you do in your homeland. So this is strictly about culture. Now I'm going to let you listen to the next lady.
Everybody's giving their Essence experience. I'm going to give mine because I was there. Let me start out by saying you could have went to Essence this year and had two completely different experiences. You could have went as an everyday person who paid your money. You paid for a flight. You paid for a hotel. You wanted to experience the convention center, the food of New Orleans, and you wanted to go to the concert. And then there was another experience. You could have been an influencer, content creator, or some other level of a VIP, and you likely had a very different experience than the person who just paid their money to come. Let me explain. First of all, the convention center experience is one that the hallmark of Essence is traditionally free. It was free again this year, with the exception of the fact that you could pay for VIP passes, which I kind of get. They were kind of high. The BeautyCon was $150 for the VIP pass, but you paid for those passes to skip the line. And what do I mean by line? Day one of Essence Fest, before the doors open, there are people literally wrapped around the convention center because they are regular everyday people coming to Essence Fest. They want to go to the different booths. They want to check out the free items that are available. They want to participate in the various activities. It's a fun time in the convention center. Now, if you were one of the VIP, influencer, creator, or another level of VIP, you might not have been one of the people standing in line. You had a different level of access to get inside the convention center. I still think the convention center was great, but I also get a lot of people were upset about the Target installation, and more importantly, that Target was still a major sponsor of Essence Fest in general. I'm boycotting Target, so I get it. I didn't go over to where their installation was. But what I will say is you could have had a great time in the convention center doing other things other than the brand-oriented thing, like the Black Global Economic Forum or the Essence author installation. People like Kennedy Ryan were doing book signings. But I also think that the flow, how they allowed people to get into the convention center was a bit disorganized day one. It was a mad dash. They let everybody in all at once. And day two, they seemed to realize that didn't work. And they slowly allowed people in. So the convention center did not get massively crowded as quickly as it did on Friday, which was also the 4th of July. Now the concerts. I was seeing reports that at some of the entrances at the Superdome, some people were waiting outside. They didn't know why they were waiting outside. They were hot and it was humid. Now, if you had VIP access, you may not have waited. And also, there was the side B with Master P and Mia X, and then there was Saturday's concert. You've probably heard by now that Lauryn Hill did not come out until 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. People were in there falling asleep, I heard, and allegedly there was an issue with the sound system. Common complaints I heard is that there was a lack of organization, multiple aspects. People were upset about a lot of the invite-only events, and people just didn't feel like it's the Essence Festival that they're used to. And here's some of my thoughts. I think Essence Fest needs to, moving forward, center New Orleans influencer leading up to the festival, giving tip on their page, what to do, what to wear, various open experiences people can have access to. Crowd control has got to be a central focus. Y'all have got to release the concert lineup earlier. Releasing it so late, not a good look. I do appreciate that Essence on their Instagram page did address some of people's concern, but I hope that moving forward, they'll put together an intergenerational group of people to help plan the next year's Essence Fest so that it can continue and it can continue to be successful. Just my thoughts though.
Now, the reason I'm talking about the Essence Festival is because Essence Magazine is now owned by a black immigrant, and the editor of the magazine is also a black immigrant, neither of which understands black American culture, and neither of which apparently didn't think they needed to understand black American culture. Now, some of the complaints that they had could have been said for anybody of any event. But when something is made for you by you, you have a level of familiarity and comfort with this. And they didn't have that with this year's Essence Festival. And that is also a part of your culture, how you interact and communicate with each other. So, as black immigrants continue to try to push their way into black American culture, they're going to find out the hard way what black American culture is. Okay, y'all, let me know what you think about this video. Thank you for listening and have a good evening.